Good afternoon, urban off-road viewers. So today is going to be a little bit different. I did a video a very long time ago when I purchased this little titanium 125 welder from Harbor Freight. When I purchased it, it was used, which is why it's got the purple sticker. It was used and somebody basically bought it and ganked all the stuff off of it. The tips and the ground clamp and some other stuff. So I never did a review on it simply because I didn't have all the pieces to it. I didn't know how to weld. I'm not a fabricator welder by any means. I just like to dabble and play around with stuff that I don't know how to do and learn. So this is going to be a video. I've welded a few things with it already. I have welded a lot of this trailer with it. Welded on that spare tire bracket. Welded the new axle on, the new suspension, hanger brackets and stuff like that. So I have used it already just to test it out, see how things work, and get to know the settings of it before I did this video, because I really wanted to give you guys a video that you can look at the titanium welder and say, is this going to be worth it for a hobbyist to purchase, or should I go out and get like a Millermatic or one of the bigger box brand names? And for what I do, this little titanium 125 really kicks ass. So today what we are going to do is we're going to put together a bracket. This is actually going to be a nozzle hanger for when we're done. I have the magnet here. This is where the nozzle slides into. I'm going to have to bend that at a 60-degree angle, and then we're just going to basically tack everything together, and we are going to make this. And this is where you put your gun, your MIG gun. When you're done with it, you slide it in there. And it's just cool. It's a little project that you can buy. I bought mine off of Amazon. They have a whole bunch of these little projects that you can buy so you can learn how to weld, tack stuff together, and just play around and have a good time with it. So let me get set up. I got my flap disc here, and I have some practice pieces. The box is dirty. It's been outside. I got some practice pieces here. We'll go ahead and weld some stuff up at different angles and whatnot, and then we'll get on this and we'll build it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these two pieces here. We're going to get them all cleaned off. I'm going to set them up here I got a couple of magnets over there. I'm going to set them up here, and I'm going to tack it together on both sides, and then I'm just going to see how fat of a weld I can get going across the thing. All right, so now that I have this up, I wanted to show you guys the inside door. Gives you all the specs and readings that you need. So always make sure you close this door securely when you're using it. The rated duty cycle is 30% at 90 amps for 10 consecutive minutes, or continuous minutes. So what that basically means is 3 minutes of straight welding needs 7 minutes of rest. And that's 100% continuous at 49 amps. So depending on how hot you set your welder, you can actually weld for longer on a lower voltage than you can a higher voltage, which makes sense. You know, causes more heat, needs the rest. So if you don't have a gauge like I do, I have right here a wire gauge. It basically tells me the size in both metric and standard sizes of what metal I'm using. But say you don't have that. Say you just got this from Harbor Freight. You don't have anything but a lid and the welder and some wire and a couple of pieces to weld. What you can do is they actually have the thicknesses. They actually have the thicknesses on the gauge itself. So you could literally just hold it up here and see which one it is. And you can see that this gauge that we're using right now is actually 1/8. So I'm using 030 wire. So at 1/8, we are going to set our wire speed to 6 and our voltage from E5 to F5. So let's just go with F and 6. So let's come over here. We're gonna change our settings. It's already at F. Get her turned down to 6. And that bad boy is set. So we'll mess with it a little bit. If it's doing a good job, we'll keep it there. If it's not, we could turn up the voltage or turn it down and see how we're doing. Next step is we're gonna get these pieces cleaned up. Just to show you guys the difference, this is how it comes. It comes with some kind of anti-rust coating or something on the metal. So when you do get a package like this is just a package of coupons. They call it coupons. It's just something to practice welding with. And as you can see clearly that there is material that you need to get off of here to get it down to the metal. Same thing on the other side. Anti-rust isn't really working on that side, is it? So we'll go ahead and clean the rest of this off. We'll clean this side. We'll get the other piece cleaned up, and then we'll get to welding. All right, so here we have it. The two pieces are clean. And the great thing about these coupons is you can set them in any orientation that you want to. You can set them this way and practice these welds. You can just set them, on each other. You can set them this way, this way, this way here. I mean, it's made to teach you how to weld in many different orientations. So for me, I think I'm gonna go with this side or this way, just because I wanna see if it actually changes the weld once the welder's warm versus once the welder's cold. So let's get this set up. Now that that's set up, I'm just gonna throw a couple of tacks on each end to hold it together so I can get rid of those magnets and clamp it down. Now real quick, right off of the bat, you guys, you see this spatter. This is from using a gasless MIG wire. So the flux is inside the wire, and that's what's making all this spatter, right? So you can easily clean all that off. It's not that big of a deal, depending on what you're doing, but you can see the penetration. It's definitely got the power to melt these two pieces and weld them together for sure. So give me just a second. I'm gonna weld this whole bead right now, and then I'm gonna flip it around and weld the other side. All right, one thing I wanna mention is I don't have MIG gloves. I have TIG gloves. And as you can see, it doesn't like it, right? So I've already got a cut through here. I've got a burn through here, but I can move my hand around. I can feel what I'm doing. You know, when you're holding something, you can feel it. With the MIG gloves, you can't feel anything. I can't feel anything at all. So that's why I have these. And I'm gonna take you off of the stand here for a second. And I'm gonna show you my beautiful, magnificent, never welded before in my life weld with this MIG welder 125 from Harbor Freight. Right, so as you can see, try to get you focused in here. I mean, that's not bad. It does have a lot of spatter on it, but for somebody that's never welded before, aside from that trailer that I did, I mean, for 1/8 inch, I think this works pretty badass. I think it'll work. I think it'll work absolutely phenomenal for these pieces here. And we'll go ahead and be able to put this thing together probably today. But I at least wanted you to see the weld that it puts out. I don't know why my camera cannot focus on anything for the last few days. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get the other side. Alrighty, so we've got this flipped around, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but you can see the weld from the other side of this metal. So I'm thinking I may have this too hot, right? So remember it said E5 to F5, so E1/2 to F1/2, and we have it on F. So because we're doing a little experiment here, I'm going to keep it the same on this side, and I'm going to run it again, and we'll see how it does. I have it actually clamped down this time instead of using the magnets, because it's not going anywhere now. So let's see how she does. Let's get this tip cut off. Hey guys, if you don't have one of these, I know it's dirty, can't help it. If you don't have one of these, they're great. So you can put this in here like so and cut it off, and that's about the length you need to start welding. So it just gives you the size that you need. You don't even have to think about it, right? So, and mind you, I am a new welder. Literally, it's not a joke, it's not a lie. I've never welded before ever, so this is my first time, so don't be too harsh on me. Real quick, I wanted to show you this in the sun. I mean, I'm pretty proud of myself. It's not the best weld out there, but I mean, I've also been welding for all of like 2 weeks, and even at that, I've only done a few projects like this. So I mean, for the titanium welder, the little 125, this is, what did I say this was? This is 1/8 inch thick material. This welder can do 3/16, which is almost twice this thick. I have done 1/4 inch with it also, and it did just fine with 1/4 inch, but it doesn't recommend 1/4 inch. But even at the highest setting on this, let me show you over here. Even on the highest setting over here, you have 8 to 9 in G to I. And if you look on here, G to I, right, you still have J between I and J. And then 8 to 9, you still have 10. So you can go from I to J and 9 to 10, and I'm pretty certain that's going to be fast enough and high voltage enough for 1/4 inch. It just probably doesn't recommend it, because if you're running at that amount of power, you're only going to be able to run for stitch welds. You know, you're going to run a bead for, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and it's not going to like you anymore, and you're going to have to let it rest. So that's probably what that's about, because physically it can do it. All right, now I'm going to get these pieces cleaned off. This piece cleaned off. I'm going to start with this one, but I'm going to get all these pieces cleaned off, and we're going to go ahead and build this thing up. Well, here we have it, all cleaned off, ready to go. And again, just to reiterate, I am not a professional welder. I am a hobbyist showing other hobbyists that they can do their own thing. They just got to get out there and try it. So any professional welders out there, kind of be easy on me, all right? It's not, this isn't what I do for a living, so be nice. So I think the first thing that I want to do is this piece here. I want to take this nut and I want to weld it to the inside of here, because this is what bolts on that magnet. This is the base, right? So I think what I want to do first is tack this on, right? And then take the bolt out and then finish weld it. And then that's going to be my starter base. Because once I box it in, obviously I'm not going to be able to get to the nut anymore. So I think that's going to be step number one. Well, now maybe somebody can give me some advice, because now the bolt doesn't want to come out. I don't know what I did. I mean, obviously I know I welded it. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe it just needs to cool down and relax or something, and then I'll be able to pull the bolt out. I hope I didn't weld it on there. I guess we'll see if I ruin the first project on this freaking welder. I mean, if I ruined it, no big deal. I'll just weld it to the welder, you know? So the nut is just for this magnetic base here. So anyway, it's just for that magnetic base there to bolt to the bottom of this, so you can stick it anywhere you want, and then you can just put your nozzle wherever, instead of having to put it on the machine, I guess, or putting it on the machine every time. I don't know. So I guess we'll just get started on the sides, I guess. You know, I've actually got to bend this to a 60 degree. I'm gonna bend this like, not quite that bad, but bend it like that. So I'm gonna go get my flat pliers and see how hard that's gonna be to do that. There it is. It actually bent a lot easier than what I thought it was going to. And now, as you can see, this seam here is now closed. I mean, that looks pretty good. As you can see with this here, it's not quite there yet. So it's actually got to come down all the way. That looks damn near like a 45 to me. Pretty close to it, but I mean, that's what we got to bend it to, so that's what we'll do. All right, there we have it. Let's see if that's right. Look at that. On the money. So as you can see, this is just made to stitch weld, right? So stitch weld in there. Stitch weld, well, it's not really a stitch weld, that's a bead weld all the way down. Yeah, so that's it's a huge portion of it. Make sure the other side is the same. Yep, the other side's good also. We've got the bottom. No, why is there no back? And then this just kind of goes in there like so, right? But why is there no back? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why there's no back to it, but there's no back, so. Alright guys, so here's my magnet to hold it in place. Then put one there. Another one there. So there you have it. There's the two magnets holding it together. It's not going anywhere. So now I can set it on the table, and that's going to be a good position for me there. I'm just going to do a tack here, a tack there, tack and tack. And then I'll actually take the magnets out. And I was kind of thinking about welding both sides, the inside and the outside, just for practice purposes, because that's what this is for. This isn't like your super structural fabrication project that you're going to be running, 500 horsepower engines through. This is just a cool little project to teach yourself how to weld, basically. So I'm kind of thinking about doing the inside, but I don't know if I want to. That's a pretty good gap, if you can see, right in the middle of the two pieces. So all right guys, that is permanently on there. If I wanted to just leave it just like that, and just do 1, 2, 3, 4 tack welds. This, for its purpose, will hold just fine, and there's nothing going to happen to it. However, I want to seam weld this whole thing, so that's what I'm going to do, because that's what the project is for, right? And I'm also going to do that part too, and then we'll go ahead and grind everything down with an actual grinder, a grinding wheel. We'll get everything as smooth as we can to where hopefully you can't see any welds at all. It just looks like a nice solid bent piece. Let's try that. Honestly guys, the one thing I can say, and you can't really see it on camera, but there is spatter everywhere on this table right now that I am not looking forward to having to clean off when we're done with this project. You can see here, that's all spatter from the weld that I just did right now. So be careful with where you put stuff. All right, so I kind of screwed up on the other side, and I see it now. You see these little nipples that are pointing up? That's supposed to be flush. So I screwed up on that side. I will get it correct on this side. So I'll go ahead and tack this up. So now that this side is flush, I actually am going to go and do the circles, because that's a pretty good size gap to fill. And on the other side, there was no gap because I closed it. So if you ever buy these projects, leave the gap. You're supposed to fill that in. That is hot. Do not touch that. See that? And that's why you buy the MIG gloves for the MIG welder, because I just burnt a hole through my damn glove. That didn't feel good on my finger either. All right, anywho's, I mean, the frame itself is done, so we're gonna go ahead and just grind the crap out of this thing and see if we can't make it nice and smooth and pretty. Let's see what we can do. Alrighty, so if you didn't need proof, or if you did need proof that a good grinder can make a good welder, I mean, that looks pretty damn good. There's a couple imperfections, but you guys saw me do this in real time. I didn't cut the video. I fast forwarded the video through everything. I didn't make a single cut. So you guys saw the whole thing. This side is where I did the circle welds. And this side came out really, really nice. This side is where I did kind of the stitch welds. And I've got gap there, small, tiny little gap there, gap on the end over here. So yeah, once you have this lined up correctly, guys and girls, got it lined up correctly, this gap right here, you're supposed to, that gap right there, you're supposed to fill that in. That's a pretty decent sized gap, so it's enough to just do little circles or little E's or little triangles or whatever it is that you do, or however you're learning or however you're being taught. I mean, make it happen, guys. It's my first project, my first actual complete project. I'm gonna see if I can't get it done right now. So this is the last piece. Just simply goes in, and you angle it so you can just get a nice weld around the whole thing. So I'm gonna make it flush with the back. And I'm just gonna tack it in. All right, now that that's tacked in, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish welding. that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing grinded down. If it all looks good, I'm gonna throw some paint on it and bring it back here and let it rest. All right, everybody. So the point of these projects is, one, so you can practice, right? Two is to learn your strong points, right? So like I've got a couple of spots, right, that could be better. And if I really wanted to, I could go on the inside. I can use one of the coupons that I have and box the outside if I wanted to, like the coupon that we used earlier here. I mean, if I really wanted to, I can close this off. I mean, it's pretty close to the same size. I could leave a little bit of a gap and then just bridge it in if I really wanted to, right? I can throw it on this way and, you know, I can use it to set in there, or, you know, whatever. But the whole idea is for you to learn. And my strong suits are definitely not, definitely not around here. I've got some practicing to do. This side doesn't look too bad after I grinded the crap out of it. But this side here is just, it's terrible. I mean, let's be completely honest. I mean, but the rest of it, for my first project, never messing with it before, never doing any kind of project like this before, I think I did pretty damn good. So, in closing of this video, first, I'd like to say that if you made it this far in the welding how's the titanium 125 welder video, right? If you made it this far, please like the video, comment on the video what you think I could have done differently, or give me some pointers. I mean, I'm brand new at this, so give me some pointers on what I could do. Obviously without buying a whole new welder with gas and everything else, but maybe give me some pointers the way I can hold it, or, you know, whatever kind of pointers that the professionals have, shoot it. I'm willing to accept it. Criticism, good or bad, shoot it. That's how you learn. So like the video, comment, share it if you would, please, and most of all, if you can, please subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this quite often. I do build videos on vehicles. I built a trailer. If you haven't seen that, I'll show it at the end of this video. I'll give you a link for that one. And I don't know, guys, this is it. Tell me what you think about it. I mean, I think it came out pretty decent for being a first-time welding project. And again, because this is not about these projects. And you guys, I bought this off Amazon, by the way. These are just little project kits. You can buy it in a kit, already pre-cut and everything ready to go. You just put it together. You just literally stick metal together with a welder and you get something, right? So it's got a bottle opener on this side. It's got the little pocket for the MIG gun there. I think I'm actually gonna see if I can't get this bolt out of there. I'm pretty certain I welded that damn thing in there. But if I can't get that out of there, I really want to do the magnet with this. If I have to weld the magnet on, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just cut this off and weld the magnet onto the base of this and call it a day at that. But that's worst case scenario, obviously. So you can buy these on Amazon all day. There's a whole bunch of different ones on there. There's pretty architectural ones. There's useful ones like this. Pretty designs, boxes. I mean, there's so many different things out there. So this is the review on the titanium 125 welder. Okay. And in my completely unprofessional opinion, with how well this thing did today with an absolute beginner, I would say that if you're a hobbyist or if you're a beginner welder, this is absolutely a must get for you. If you can afford a better one, the better one that you get, the better the welds you're going to get. That's a simple fact of welding. If you can afford the $600, $700, $800 one where you can hook up gas to it, you won't have all that spatter that I was having on my welds. It'll be nice. It'll be a lot cleaner welds, that's for sure. It'll penetrate better. But if you can't afford it, or if you only do this once in a blue moon, I mean, this is where it's at. I think I paid $140 for this on sale. And it was a return item, remember? So I think I paid less than that. I think I paid like $127 or $129, something like that. And I ended up getting a whole bunch of tips for it. And I got my shield from Harbor Freight also, and this is not a bad shield. I'm going to upgrade to the other one, but I mean, this one's not bad. I'm going to give this one to my son so he can practice with me welding. But what do you think, guys? It's not bad. It gives you all the directions, how-tos, sizes, and if you want to look at that again, we have the sizing chart there. And if you don't have, like I said, if you don't have a gauge like I have to tell you how thick the metal is, oh well, you have it right there. So you can literally, if you have a small piece of it, you can just stick it right up to the size on there, and that's the actual size of the metal that this can do. And like I said, it could probably do 1/4 inch, but 3/8 is the largest that this is saying to do. And that's, I mean, anything above 3/8, guys, I wouldn't use this for it. But the titanium 125 flux core welder is a buy. I would say yes, 100%. I would buy it again. So thank you guys again for tuning into Urban Off-Road. I will see you on the next one. And remember, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you out on the road.